Regarding this cash wedge, I agree with your 70-30 rule. However, I heard another strategy to move that 2 to 3 years of expenses to a safe place, but don't use it until you see the market softening. You keep using your 70% and get the cash wedge only when markets are down. Any thoughts? First of all, I think I'd like to kind of clarify the 70-30 rule, because I think what they're talking about there is 70% in stock equities, 30% in bonds and fixed income, or things guaranteed not to go negative, which I would say is a general thing that we see with clients doing the cash wedge, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a rule if that's what we're referring to. So Adam, can you just clarify that's probably what this person is referring to? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So the asset mix could be different for anybody. It's more of, if the market, I've always said, like, if 2008 is going to happen, I'm going to invest your money like 2008 is going to happen tomorrow. So if the market goes down, the stock market goes down and stays down for 2 to 3 years, if all of our money is in whatever stock indice, and we're sitting there twiddling our thumbs for 2 or 3 years saying, well, I can't do much, and hopefully I'll be able to eat for the next couple of years until this market comes up, that's not a good place to be. But if we have some amount, 2 to 3 years, in some sort of wedge, we've been calling it the cash wedge, but some sort of safety wedge, that we can sit there and go, well, that's terrible about the market, but I'm going to wait it out while drawing on this other money over here. So going back to the question here, move 2 to 3 years of expenses to a safe place, but don't use it until you see the market softening. Well, that's essentially what a cash wedge is. So if this last year was a banner year, for example, now nobody knew whether it was going to be a banner year or not at the start of the year, and some points during the year it didn't look like it was going to be a banner year, but it was a banner year. So in a case like that, if it was me being retired, I would be sitting down with my investment advisor and saying, okay, are we going to take some of these gains? How are we going to do this? And it's very possible they're going to say, yeah, we're going to sell some of these gains, and here's your money for next year, and go have a grand old time, and we're not going to touch your kind of safety net, your cash wedge. And then next year, it's a crappy market. It's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? Okay, well, we're going to dip into some of these bonds and GICs and whatever, and wait for the market to come back. And when the market comes back, then we're going to refill your cash wedge, and off we go. So that's kind of how I see that one. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And there's been a lot of chatter, I'll say, or comments on our videos and just online lately about, like, is a cash wedge actually financially make more sense? Like, are you financially better ahead? And again, we talked about it here. Like, it's kind of even. There's been some data out there that says you're actually worse off with cash wedge. There's some data that says you're better off. But let's call it a flush. The reality is, though, you have to go back to the psychological, right? 10% financial, 90% psychological. That's retirement. And so in retirement, if you retire at 60, retired early 60, you have till 75. You only have 15 years. If you retire at 65, you only have 10 years. The markets will drop a few times in that time frame. When the market drops, if you don't have a cash wedge, if you just, I don't believe in a cash wedge, I'm just keeping my money invested, guess what happens, right? You're either selling at a loss, or more likely, you're not enjoying that year. You're basically scraping by, doing the bare minimum. You're not traveling. You're not doing your hobbies. You're scaling back. Well, why did you work for 40 years to scale back in the 10 best years of your life possible, where you don't have to work? That makes no sense to me. So you can argue me all day long, financially, if it's better or not. I don't care. If it's close, then you have to loop over to the psychological side. And it's not even close over there. Like, it's a black and white conversation. So I think with that, yeah, in good years, you can sell your good stocks and your investments and live off of that, but you're building that cash wedge for the down year, so that in your down years, you can enjoy the last few years of good life you have, and health you have left. That's really the purpose of the cash wedge, in my opinion. And again, this isn't me coming up with this idea. This is us seeing it too for the last 2 decades with clients enjoying retirement because they have that cash wedge. So,
yeah. Talk to people in around 2008, and we use that example because it, obviously within history, it was one of the craziest ones, that had to delay their retirement plans by 2 to 3 years because the market went down. I don't want to delay my retirement plans just because something out of my control happened. And so I see a cash wedge as the money that I lose by not having it in the market is the cost of my insurance to make sure that I can make choices during those years that the market goes down. And just to beat a dead horse here, is it financially or mathematically correct for somebody to have all their retirement savings in GICs when they're like 40 years old? And the answer mathematically would be no, they could do better. But we all know somebody who is like, look, I can't sleep at night when the market goes down 4%. Okay, you should be in GICs. You're going to have to save more or spend less. But that's a lot better than trying to force you along this road that's going to be 20% one year, negative 15% another year. And, you're not having a fun time getting to retirement and then having a fun time in retirement. So
exactly. Yeah. Even 2022, like that was a bad year in the markets. We had a lot of clients move over to our retirement income program after, like through 2023, 2024, especially 2024. Like they went through 2022 and they realized like, yeah, like that didn't work for me. I'm retired. I basically had to take a year off. I wasted 10% of my retirement because I didn't have a proper structure to my plan. Maybe they even had a good plan, but they didn't have the investment structure. And that's the implementation part. You need to pull it through with that. So
yeah. Well, we're getting pretty passionate on this podcast. We're taking no prisoners here.
Again, no skin off our back, but we see it. Like it's one of those. It's like if you're a doctor, right? If you go in and your doctor's like, that bump, it's not going to kill you tomorrow, but it will kill you eventually. You're like, I'm good, right? It's
tomorrow's tomorrow.
Exactly right. So